Okay, so it's just 4 o'clock in the morning, but I had a rough night last night, and like I'm so uncomfortable. Uh, once the poisons or whatever hit and start the autoimmune spiral or whatever that happens in my body, it always is like inflammation or something. I don't know. It's uncomfortable. I don't know how to explain it. It's like you sit in a position for like a couple seconds and it starts hurting. You have to just move. It's like so uncomfortable. God, I'll be. At last night, I was thinking, man, what is it gonna feel like to not feel any pain? And I was thinking that is probably the part of us where we start being like, oh, it's a crystalline body, because it's the pain that keeps us bound to this illusion of self. And when we release all this pain, it's like, oh, it's like they turn up the frequency, like they feed us a story, turn up the frequency to get us to feel this heaviness, this burden, and the sense of being alive. And then this healing part is where we pull free from that, because it's so much is about this pulling free from this concept of three-dimensional. And then we pull free from that and we pull into our self-identity, which is a soul. And this is kind of trippy. Like, okay, I did not see. Like, I thought it was me talking about. We'll see where it goes. Like, because okay, so this was trippy because a couple of weeks ago I had talked about that there was some whistleblower or some video of some guy. I don't know. It's like from the 70s or 80s or something. I don't. There's so many videos out there now. It's just like a big, but I had seen a video of this guy. It was like an interview or something. He was talking about when he was talking to the aliens, and that they say that this is nothing but what do they call it? Like a capsule, a container. That a human is a container. And I totally see it. Like, I completely know what they're saying. I understand totally. And it's trippy too, is about the container. Like, there's a lot of things about the container, because like we get caught up in thinking that we are the container, and these beings want to know, like, how does this container work? Because then now there's a new video, because this one was this, and that one was just talking about like that they look at us like we're containers, like that's all we are or something like this, so this other one was, so they had these alien people that they were talking to, and they were just fascinated by the containers, and they wanted to try and understand, like, how did you guys get in there? How does that work? How do you get out of there? Like, can we take you out of there and stuff? So all of that kind of stuff. And see, that is, I think, a part of the sanction faction, the group of people. Like, if we were to think of them as Yahtzees or whatever, you think of those as the mad scientists who come up with this weird ass shit of a lot of weird ass shit. If you don't know, like, just go look. And then so those kind of people, that kind of energy comes from this group of you want to call them aliens or something, is a higher dimensional, but they are not. It's a higher dimensional in the aspect of technology and understanding or something, but it's not in the sense of compassion and empathy. That's like the difference in the light and the dark. In the dark, the like, where you would think of these advanced beings, where like of if you were to say the Anunnaki, but I don't think the Anunnaki is as warring. I think that the compilation of creation of humans was because it was more out of not just laziness, but it's like, well, we can. And then it's like lessens their work. It's like something that beings do. It's like an intelligence factor in some sense, but then you move up into higher states of consciousness and you develop empathy and compassion, where you wouldn't try and get somebody to do something for you and stuff. Oh, these videos are coming into my mind because there's so much stuff being released right now, and showing these motherfucking old guys, like, who is this one? Ashton Kutcher's a fucking creep. Like, dude, I knew he was gonna be. Like, I saw that coming for show. Who is this? Leonardo knew him. Like, and that's Diddy's favorite guy. I like, well, if he's our party, we gotta have him there. But who was the video I just saw? It was a little fucking kid, like a 9-year-old girl, in a little dress, little hair thing, and a sports thing. And you know, like when you go to the sports things, how there's these cement walls and you walk up these stairs and there's all the sections, right? And so she's sitting on the last chair next to this wall thing. On the other side of this wall thing is, I keep seeing Leonardo, but I don't know if it's him, because there's shit on just like all these different people. Like, there's gonna be just so much. But he's sitting there, you know, like talking to this, like the different pictures, this show, like it's way too engaged. You're way too engaged. Are you fucking kidding me? And then weirdly enough, Mel Gibson is sitting there and he turns over and starts talking to the girl and showing her something on the phone or something. It's like way too much engagement. There's one thing of making a kid feel good, you know, like, oh yeah, they talk to me or whatever, but that was like creepy town. And Ashton, I mean, he was out there fucking being a football coach, like, to teenage girls, because or sports. It was something with football coach. No, what was the sport? It was some kind of sport. I thought that they were saying football, but it was for teenage girls. He was being a coach for sports at high school, volunteering. And then him and his compadres made some fucking freako fucking cartoon. It's supposed to be the help girl. It is so fucking disgusting. Like, all the information on him. I mean, then plus when he met Mila, she was like 14 or something, 13. And then he didn't go with her. Like, at that point, wasn't he going, who was it? Was he with Brittany Murphy? And then she talked some smack on him. And then who was after that? Was that when he went with Demi Moore after that? Maybe it was. Because Brittany Murphy was saying stuff about, like, his member and trying to really humiliate him publicly, like he wasn't manly enough or something. And I think it was Demi Moore came out and said, like, there was a weird little penis battle back in this interim. But anyways, I mean, I when I saw him before Congress, is these people, and like I had been saying too about what's her name, married to Ryan Reynolds, all this shit coming out on her, and I was saying there's something weird because the stuff that she's out there saying at these things is not information that is released, and then they give her, you know, her husband these blockbuster hits. Like, there's something weird because he would not be getting those if she was really out there speaking that truth. So, but there was some stuff released. Like, that's where I learned from her talk was about this. It's called the, what do they do that? Because they do that like in the champagne room, the champagne rooms. Or so what is it? Like I keep hearing RIP because yeah, it is RIP. But what is the, privacy, it's like what rich people do, and they have their private stash or something, and it's like their top of the line or whatever this is called when they have an infant and they want to death, then they it's called this certain thing. It's disgusting. And then it's like $125,000 or something. You can go look up her thing. It was like to some women's group or something where she was out there trying to be like, we got to do something about all this happening to the kids and all this stuff. But I was like, okay, so she's saying that and that's all true. But then all of a sudden here comes Deadpool or some bullshit. And it's like, okay, I don't know about this. And, you know, these other people, like, you got all these other people now coming out and saying, like, every time they've tried to speak the truth, they got a smackdown. And so that's what happens when the people really speak the truth. They don't get a fucking blockbuster banger one after another. It's like, yeah, you guys are shady. Oh, and there's another whole thing with where I was said I went on Demi Moore's thing. Like there was some like I think it was the interview with Drew Barrymore that I saw this clip, and I was like, there's something so weird looking about her now. And so, but I was listening to her voice, and I was like, her voice sounds like her, but she doesn't look like her. And then there's like one thing like with plastic surgery and stuff, but I don't know, like I don't know. It's like people's whole fucking faces are changing, their whole shape, where their eyes sit on their head and stuff like that, or there's weird stuff. And even that's even coming from somebody whose face is morphed. Like I can let go of a lot of weird things on people's faces and just be like, oh, I didn't notice that. But then, but now it's like, no, like this is somebody who I have watched for 40 fucking years or something. And, or something weird with her face. And I don't even feel like I could like ask my sister or something, because I feel like you can't, the three-dimensional way of mind trapping you, you don't see these things or something. Your mind doesn't accept it or something. There's something weird about it. And so I don't know, like a lot of those people say, well, yeah, they look different, they're getting old and they have plastic surgery and stuff like that. It's like, there's more to it. But and anyways, my whole rant about that, you know, I think that was yesterday or whatever. But the after I did that and said that, I went on to TikTok. There were so many people not talking about her. They're all talking about different ones. Everybody's saying the same thing about these different people. Like, oh my God, have you seen so-and-so? That's not them. Have you seen so-and-so? That's not them. It's like all of these things. So I don't know if it is kind of like there's a lot of people have been arrested. Maybe they're putting out these certain other people, and it kind of also wakes us up, because then we start being like, wait a minute, that doesn't look right. They don't look right. And then you start doing investigation. When I was looking at the Demi Moore one on Google, it was like pictures were changing, and they were putting in all of these newer pictures of her. And I was like, somebody's been around for 40 years. Why would they not want to have all their younger pictures, you know, where they look really young and really good? Like I don't know. There's some shady shit. It's like, I don't think a woman who is that age is going to wipe all of her old pictures and just like, here, let's put all of the plastic surgery pictures up. Unless you're trying to tell us that this is, you know, that this new person is the old person. That's what I think. And then it was like this old pictures that they could take and kind of morph the pictures or something. It's like they put some filter over some of these and kind of change it. Like, because even when you look, it's like the face looks weird. It doesn't, like, I don't know. Everybody's got to figure stuff out for themselves. But there seems to be a big wave of that, of all these, a whole bunch of different people saying like, this person's not this person. This person's not this person. And, you know, we're all noticing these things. But if they've switched them out to put, like those people are people who have been taken out, and then they're putting in these people to help us to wake up. I would imagine. I don't know. Like, I mean, there's so much stuff going on. Like, there's a big crisis of bullshit going on in the Middle East they're not reporting on. And so that is really heating up this back and forth between Lebanon and the real. And that, so and it's all, you know, all of these different things is all to expose the corruption, the people who are involved in the corruption, with the lifestyle, the way that we've been being forced to live and stuff, like all of this stuff. And then so when you think about these different alien groups and stuff, like I would say that the Anunnaki are more advanced. I think that they are more they are leaned way more into compassion and stuff. And I think that when they had initially had interfered here with the development of these new beings, that because there's something with the Pleiades too. The Pleiadians also involved way back, and there was a lot of groups that were coming and landing and trying to help different tribes and different groups, you know, to help them advance. And then there was at some point Maybe it was when it was that these Dracos or something had taken over so much and that we were going in a certain direction. It'd be way more of the universe of like, okay, let's watch how this plays out. But the thing is, this is what gets me. And this seems to be a concept that seems to be the people just don't, I don't know it. They don't question it. They don't understand it. They don't open their mind to it. They don't see it. But I think they're going to begin to see it. I think people are going to begin to understand. I'm so happy now that I'm seeing other people say this timeline jumping thing is bullshit. You guys stop with this. And it's like, fuck, finally there'll be a wave of that come through because, yeah, it's mental. It's like, go study spirituality before you start saying a bunch of nonsense. And and I heard this one lady who was talking about it, and she was saying that she was explaining it different than how I explain it, but the same kind of thing, that we are all here playing all the things out. Like everything that is possible is happening because we are all playing it out. We are all the role players of this situation. And then I saw another one that they were talking about. It's a school, it's not a prison, but it's like an education. And that's what I have also been saying, only in a different kind of way, because we are it's like the education for all the universe, us being the players. It would be like, kind of like how okay, because there's so much skewing of our entertainment and stuff like that, where, things are going to be changing. But before, it was so much used to create our mind control, how we looked at things, how we behaved, how we acted, and stuff like that. But so the actors, though, in a more positive scenario, would have been the ones that were influencing us to be better people, to learn how to negotiate through life. And but instead it was used to create this other hostile environment. But in all sense of a positive angle of approach, then it would have been the actors would have been like role models kind of behavior. But see, they weren't even their own behavior. They were acting. The whole thing's kind of weird. Like it's interesting as an art form, but where it was taken to, it was taken into such depth of controlling us. So, it's one thing to, go watch a play and watch people act and watch funny scenarios or whatever. But when they started trying to control our behavior through us being programmed through their entertainment, and but so if it would have been like the better scenario, where these people were role models of good behavior, then, like what John Wayne was thought of to young men back at a certain time. He's such a good role model for young men. And then as time went on, there was like a depletion of role models for young men. And then they were just taking him in a really dark direction. Then, but that kind of idea of this role model, so that is like kind of like how the universe will look at us, is because we are these players that are bringing in all of this information for all of these other life forms, let's say. Because some of these life forms are not, it's almost like, man, it's kind of like some energies or life forms, like they go into different kind of morphing into different things, and they aren't all, here to be these players like what we are. And see how it's fascinating to some of these different aliens and stuff, because it's like, how do you guys get in there? What are you doing? Because that is what I'm saying. Some of these beings and stuff are in their true form, that they are in, their, some of them are in like their soul form. Oh yeah, because what I was saying with the Anunnaki and the Pleiadians, that they had some connection all the way back. But then there was a part where it was like, they had to let it go and let things play out. And, humanity had to play out these certain things, because when something is offered, for there to be an engagement by the vessel, it shows that that is an interaction that can be played out for all entertainment purposes for all of the universe. And so there is a lot of things that play out because of our interest in, the availability of the, like, well, what would happen? What would happen if this? What would happen if that? And so there's so much stuff that plays out. But this is the part that is kind of hard, I think, for people to understand, is the destiny. Because there's so many people who think like you are creating the day as you go. You're creating it in the sense of how you deal with it. So whatever happens in the day, there is it's like, I don't know how else to say it except for you get on a ride and the ride goes, and then the rider has its own view of life. So as the ride takes off, it's not the same ride for everybody, because it is what the rider pays attention to, what the rider looks at. And like, if we were all on a ride, our perspectives would all be different because of where our eyes would land, what we would notice, who would you notice, what things would we feel as we were being, thrown around on this ride. It's all a very variable due to our underlying perspectives of how we understand things. And that's what gives so much value to the rest of the universe, as to watch and participate in our learning. And our learning is it bleeds out into them all learning, because it isn't like that they could just go and crush themselves down into getting into this glove. It's like we are at our energies are at a certain stage of development or something. But there is some higher selves, though, that can put out a whole bunch of itself into a whole bunch of different things. But to me, that is like an advanced player. Like, there's so much advancement that can happen. That is like an advanced player. Just like if you think about a video game where you can have a guy and he can be playing more than one game or more than one player at a time or something. I think there's some people who are really advanced in some of this stuff. So that would be in the same kind of sense as where souls have advanced to in the real game, the real life game. And so some of them can play a lot of players at once. And so there's and so our role is a significant role. It's not like we are not, we have great value. Just like everything inside of your body has a great value. Like every cell has value. And then that also shows kind of in their way they disrupt ourselves with their medications and stuff, which that's another part of that little girl's thing. I forgot to say about that is the medication. And that is one thing that is coming out too on some of these other kid, situations that the kid who was has been on different kinds of meds. They've taken them off and stuff like that. There's gonna be more. I'm sure it's gonna be linked into more takedown, which BlackRock has filed for bankruptcy. Which, like, if that the way I see it is like, there are all these LLC, all these corporations all come from this. So they all bleed out from this. So this going down is going to be like all these lights are going to start going out. There's going to be so much of things shutting down. People don't realize how dependent we have become on the corporation. And as a corporation fails and shuts down in all these different ways, it's going to cause a ripple effect of panic and fear in people, because they become so dependent, reliant. That's why we've had this opportunity towards our own independence, but not everybody was there. And those of us who took that, we won't feel as scared about when these things start happening, because we were already scared by this other thing that got us to look at it in this direction. And so we already had been going in this other direction towards independence. Like, well, we don't need that. Well, I don't need that. Well, I don't need that. And going into, into the unknown of, well, we'll just have to figure it out. We got to make changes. And there's all these other people, though, who just, if the burger's going to cost $10, I still got to go get my burger. It's going to be $15, I still got to get my burger. There's people who they just keep bending over wherever this things push them. They just keep on, okay, well, they'll just do more and more and more. And but that's where I say that, like, these are these souls lessons, like, it is interlinked with other lives. Like, this is a way of them seeing this other side. And and it's not just this scenario, other scenarios play out. This is, oh yeah, okay, so there is I had seen this video, and it was talking about that it was a woman who was, I don't even know, she something asked about AI, how some of communication or something, and anyways, it said that it would not use uh language or binaural I don't know, I can't repeat other people's stuff, but basically it said it would speak, the other beings or whatever speak through, um well, was it there's something, because now I'm kind of seeing, like, in Egypt and stuff, how they would speak through symbols and stuff. So it is basically, like what I've said, like with telepathy and stuff, it's speaking through symbols. So symbols are used in order for you to understand what they're saying. But it's the symbols that they use for us. This is the part I wanted to say, was like a for instance. And so the symbols, when they're communicating to us, and they show you something, and it will mean something to you because it's a part of your reference, it's a part of your understanding, it's part of your experience. So they can show you something and you'll have an understanding of it. So they could show you, like what I keep seeing is like this old 2-story farmhouse, but all the windows are dark, and it's sitting very lonely out in a field. And that flashing into someone's mind, in them recognizing this, but it's not just like the recognition of a place or something. It is a recognition of an energy that held, like whatever went down there, whatever you experienced there. Like, maybe you felt a lot of joy there. Maybe there was you were scared all the time from the field, or whatever it was. Maybe it was overrun with mice, and you remember the feeling of not being able to keep them out or something. There's some kind of a thing where they'll show you something that there's a meaning to it. It's not just like, oh, remember when you lived at this house? No, it's like you'll see these images of things, and it may not have anything to do with where you lived or anything. It's just, like I said, it's just a scenario to try and explain something. But whatever it is that they will flash into your mind, that is like, those are symbols, that the symbols have a reference to you, that you understand. When you see this thing, it'll bring up some kind of a feeling in you, some kind of an understanding, an aha, like, I get it, yes. And there can be a lot of those, like, flashing of these different scenarios, and it builds an understanding. It's all a communication. So anyways, I wanted to say that, because when I had seen about that one thing, that is what came to my mind, was how they use these different things out of our own understanding, our own reference. And then you got to see too, is like that they can see, like, that is what it's trippy. It's like they can see through us in a way that we don't. We keep looking at the surface. And this is the part that is like a part of the awakening, I believe, is this being able to look deeper into people, being able to see people's true self. And I think that is a part of this very destabilizing of why so many people who are going to go down, and so many people that were like trusted by people and people looked up to them and stuff. And then it's going to be this whole circus to show you, your surface level of of developing your take on somebody, if they're a good person or a bad person. And that has been a part of our problem in humanity, because we would go on the surface, and that's where we would get like these Ted Bundys and stuff. There was people who could use that to their advantage. And so we did have a thing, where, and that's why people who would go to church and stuff, like bad people could start going to church and say, well, I'm a Christian, I go to church every Sunday. And then it was, and there was like so much in the shadows at the churches, like they're so involved in so much of this stuff, and it's all coming out and coming to the surface in their involvement in these rituals. And I just saw a very emotional video of a girl who was kidnapped when she was really little, and then taken and had been used for 15 years in their industry, and just had a reuniting with her mom. And it was so emotional, man. You could just see like this. I mean, she's still a young girl, but I don't know, you can see beyond that. I mean, you see like this, like a child collapse. It was sad. It was very emotional, because both of them. And it's just like, fuck, and all the years that were robbed away. Like, all the process. But see, that's what I'm saying is, like, every single situation has so much process, and is so much purity to the process. Like, hers is very unique to the universe, all of the stuff. And then it's what we do with it. That's the thing. It's like, how do we act? What do we do with it? And the weird thing is it's already happened. It has already happened. It's like when they say it's written in the stars, it's like the stories, the scenarios are written. You are just giving them life. And so it is, but it still is like you give it your own pizzazz. You take the character and you create the pizzazz. And so that is like what you do with it. That is like, do you sit and whine and cry and feel sorry for yourself because this happened and that happened and they don't like you and they do, all of this stuff? Or do you, take it and learn from all of the different things and become a bigger, stronger, more emotionally transparent and fulfilled person with all of the stuff that you learn and go through? And the thing too with destiny is like, because we are in this destined event, like destiny is going to play out, like this is going to play out. Like, I don't know every little scenario that's going to play out to lead us there. It's a bigger thing, but it all is leading to this flipping where everything is going to go in this other direction. That's all written. Like, that is all a for sure deal. There's no changing that. And so when people sit there and try and think about, like we're just making the world happen as we go. No, you're making your world happen as you go. It's through your perspective of how the things affect you and how you deal with them. And there is no wrong or right. It isn't like, if you're angry and you're sad and all that, like you're wrong. Like I've said, that the universe it enjoys all things because that's real. That's authentic. That's all real stuff. And so it isn't like, oh, you're wrong for being you. You're wrong for looking at it that way. You are going to go to hell now. And the thing is like, in this world that we are in, this is like what I think of as like hell. This is low vibration. It's a place where people can hurt each other. It's a place where you can be really tricked. It's a place where a lot of dark stuff happens. So to me, this is as low as you can go. And it's crazy because it's so beautiful, but it's like the people who took it over are just, really dark. The darkness is this wanting this, it's like a consumption of other energies and wants control and to take us over. And they've been doing it for a long time. Like, I'm sure they've got a bunch of souls in black boxes and robots and all sorts of shit. Because like those aliens were saying, like, how do you get them out? Well, They've been doing it. They've been taking consciousness out of the spacesuit. They've figured it out. And I don't know, there's definitely been an alien group who has been, like the ones that gave the Yahtzees information to get him. Like there's the dark group that wants to control and consume. And then okay, okay, so it's almost like this realm, us coming into this realm and then being able to pull these sides out of us, is confirmation to them or to the universe that they aren't all bad, because they can get us to find that stuff in us. But see, that's the thing with the soul, is like they aren't all bad. They've just, shut out the light in a focus on the dark, focus on control. And so it's not that they are all bad. It's where you lean into. That's why we have this opportunity at this time to get into balance with both, not be so leaned in. Like, people don't realize how much they've leaned into the dark, but it's like out of a survival mode. Like, I don't want to shame the people who've led into the dark, because there is a sense of, how do I survive this place? And then there is all of these different things for the souls to learn from. Like, it's all a part of this learning and growing and expansive parts. And there is a lot of clumsiness through the development of, like, for sure through humanity, but through other beings and stuff. Because I don't know, we're not the only ones that and there's I don't know, there's more to it with the whole thing with color and these beings and them trying to control us. And then it's like the beings that they got to go the darkest, but there's a lot of other beings here too. That's the thing, is it's not just one kind of being here. It's like at some point, at their highest reign, or during some of their resets or violence, that a lot of beings and stuff, like, had to become folklore. They had to go, and hide. They had to shield themselves from the terror of these other beings. And so this is kind of like a reunification of all beings being able to come out and be free. And it's crazy too, because it's like they've got humans so scared of other beings, when it really, you just need to be scared of these ones here, because of what they're willing to do to take you over. And all the ones that, they may look scary. I mean, you have too many arms and faces and eyes and hands and too much stuff, like, it may, be freaky looking to us. But that is where we got to learn how to see beyond that, see the intelligence behind the superficial part of the being. And that is a part of our adjusting our understanding, so that we can be more accepting, because that is this part where we're moving into this empathy and compassion, this higher state of mind for the beings. And then during this time where there's all these other kind of strange beings and stuff, where people, like, I mean, we would kill spiders, we would kill, like, people have been eating other animals, like, killing and, like, not giving any respect to other life forms. We've been doing that for a long time. And so this is a big jump for humanity, to give respect to other life forms. At this point in time, they are very scared and fearful, and with good reason, because any of these things could eat them up, could gobble them up. But as soon as they got gobbled up, they would see, like, it's just all an illusion. But because then they would come out of the body thing, and they would be out of it would just be out of the game. You know what I think too, is I think so many souls They die because they will themselves to die. It's like a part of the thing. It's a part of the, like, not healing, not emotionally, and it being drained, like your minerals, that like you're just like drained, like all your color goes out and everything, and that you're emotionally just dead inside. You've put yourself aside. Nobody understands you. Nobody cares about you. Like the things that build up in a non-healed person. And that I think at some point they just, they're just like, I just want to die. I just hate it here. And so many people just die. Like, and it's trippy is like, what was this one I just saw recently? It was like a woman husband died or something, and she was just like, well, I'm gonna go be with my husband, and we were together all this time, so I'm just gonna go be with my husband now, and just like shuts her eyes and dies or something. I was like, what? I don't even know, am I dreaming this, like what the hell? But I do think that there is more control, but it was, oh, this is the thing that people don't get. It was always going to happen the way it happens. And that's the part I think people don't get, like how destiny works. Like we are in it playing out. Like it's playing out right now. Like whatever's going to happen next week is going to happen next week. And right now we're in the lead up to what's going to happen next week. Whatever's going to happen today is going to happen today. Like if they're going to put Marcellus down, like these motherfuckers that go all the way to the Supreme Court and they're still coming out and saying, yep, we're putting him to death today. That's it for old fucking Marcellus. It's like these motherfuckers, I swear to God, is all over corruption and money, greed. It's so fucking aggravating. And then they make this guy be so expendable, and they've already taken his life from him. They've already made him spend so much of his life in prison, and now they aren't even giving him the rest of his life. It's outrageous, man. And this fucking governor, they've just taken their phones offline. Like every time you call, their message thing is full. You can't get through. And even yesterday, they were messing with more of the stuff online. Like you could go and if you go try and sign, like if you haven't signed, I don't know that it's gonna do any good. Like this governor is gonna have to see, like, dude, you don't fucking put a stay on this execution, you won't be able to walk the streets. I will not be surprised at all if there is people who are at the prisons. I'm sure that because I think they have this every time there's an execution, as I've seen this in so many movies or news things and stuff. All the people show up there, but they have a lot of people. This is in Missouri, so I don't know how heavily populated it is because all of the outrage is so spread out. But but they'll have people show up at prisons, on both sides, doing picketing or protesting or whatever when this occurs. But so, that would be like, well, they're not going to do shit because this happens every time when somebody is put down by the government. And so this governor though is definitely showing his true colors. And I was him, I would be very concerned for my life. You get what I'm saying? Like I think that there's going, they put Marcellus down. There's going to be some fucking outrage. I'll guarantee you. It's gonna be. It's gonna. I don't know. I think it would go beyond the George Floyd. Like I think it will be a whole nother level of pissed off. And but all these scenarios see how to play out. And so I'm hoping that they, come to fucking get a grip on life and let this fucking guy out, be fucking humans. But, a lot of these people are caught up in not being humans and being led by these people who want to keep them out of balance, keep them in the dark. And a lot of them have surrendered. What was that one too? Because I saw a video. Oh, this was a guy. What was he? He was on some fucking show. It was a show you wouldn't think of, like, whatever he was on, then they went and started inviting him to these different parties and stuff. And in this thing, whatever it was that he was getting involved with, they were wanting him to do certain things or something. But the way that they kept telling him, you're one of us now, you're one of us, you're one of the, like, you're one of the elite or something. And it's like, you see how they manipulate people into, because you're not one of them. You're not ever going to be one of them. They're going to use you, and they're going to keep you out dancing in front of them to take, so that you're the beard to them. You're the what is hiding them. And so it's all bullshit. It's all illusion, but they feed these sides of these people. Just like Justin is kicking his own ass now. Like, was that fucking Ferrari worth it? No. And the stories with fucking Will's kid coming out. Like, Will, like, man, I don't even know. Like, it's hard to fathom some of these people's brokenness. Like, dude. And what, like, man. Fuck, I don't know. There's gonna be so much darkness that's gonna be coming out on all these people, but so many of them, I think it's what we're gonna be looking. Our eyes are gonna be on some stand-ins, some masked people, some clones, some. I don't think a lot of them are the real people. I think a lot of them are taken, and maybe some of them are, testifying against other ones, bringing down bigger people. Maybe they didn't do such bad things. I don't know. But there is like some different actors speaking out, like, and doing weird videos. So you got Stephen Baldwin, you got Jack Ritter, he's doing some. Jamie Kennedy, he started a bunch where they're trying to say things and not, really say a lot of stuff, but the thing will happen. It will show, the people who are on, because there was people who just were in Hollywood, but trying to fly under the radar of these monsters. But there was definitely the people who dealt the most with the monsters were the biggest social climbers. The ones who really wanted to make it out there, really wanted to get in there and make something of their lives. Then those people, the ones in control, would take them as far as that they would go. And yeah, they totally hoard girls out. Like, they would make them do humiliating things. There's a lot of humiliation. I think how I see it is like this humiliation. And so then when you are sitting in negotiation rooms, you are, how do you do it with confidence? When they've got all this stuff, like, you've been taken to Pound Town by a group of, like all this stuff that they know about you, like the gross things that they get these people to do for these humiliation kind of ritual things to bring them down, not just one notch, not to just be like, oh, I'm better than you. What's even fucking creepier than that is that the ones that are motherfucking getting these people to get so focused on their humiliation are the ones motherfucking wearing the red shoes. Like, so these people do horrible things, but see, then they get other people to go find this dark side of themselves. What will you do for this? And then these people do that, and then they feel, because they have a soul still, they have this shame and guilt and feeling bad about themselves. These other people have lost that compassion and stuff. That's why I said they're very in the dark. We aren't that, yet. Some people may be turning into that, but we aren't that. We have this inside of us, and this blaring light that is about to be forced on people is going to make them see how far they've gone in the dark, because so many people don't realize how they are so in the dark. But that is a part of people will have to understand, it is like it was all done to you on purpose. So there's got to be a sense of not being so mean to yourself and putting yourself down and talking shit on yourself over this stuff, because people are going to be really mean to themselves over this stuff. Like, believe you me, like, I fucking have been sitting here being mean to myself over the shit I did when I'm 17, 18 years old, 19 years old. Like, man, and it's so weird how you get such a different vision of yourself, like, as you go through life, and then all of a sudden you get this other vision and you see yourself more clearly. It's like, oh my God. How annoying. I'm so glad, Crystal, that you had like similar kind of things. And that shows too, is that, when sex abuse and any kind of abuse happens in household, it gets the kid to, there creates a distortion in how people go out into the world. And there's why there has to be this like this bridge from leaving your home to going out looking for partners. Like you don't want to leave your home in this destructive manner and then start looking for partners. Like we need more of a bridge to build ourselves back to ourselves and get ourselves to, feel good about yourself and, know that you're good at things. And I don't know, there's a whole build up to self that needs to occur, not just like, let's break all these people and put them out in the world and tell them to pair up. And, I mean, it's just absolute chaos. Our relationships are so destructive. And people all go around like, oh, they're a narcissist. Oh, I'm a victim. And, it's just because everything is so, it's just so fucked up. And because, we aren't victims, we're playing other roles, we're playing out roles. And so you don't want to just get caught up in like, I'm a victim, I'm a victim. You got to look at the deeper stuff in the scenarios and trying to understand, what it is that you're learning from it. And, but anyway, so the people who are in the dark, that like I don't know, it seems like they bind themselves to the dark because they have focused on the dark for so long. And like I said, even if a person is very lost in life and very focused on the dark and just doing shit ass things all the fucking time, you die and you go to your life review. And then you go over it and you look at it and then you see. So there's like, you can't get away with anything. Like there's so many people who think like they're getting away with something. You're not getting away with shit. It's because, just believe you me, that is such ignorance. I can't even believe it. And so when you go through and you go into your life review, and then that is, it's like this the education, but it's you. It's not like you're going to sit down with all these higher minds. No, they're just watching you. And but you have your guides. It's like you have this sense of I don't know. I think it was my guides back when I was a kid. And they started, it's like they give you both scenarios. They give you both things. They give you more explanation. They give you the idea that there's two sides. To me, I don't know. Because to me, it's like, when I think of it, it's like, I feel like it's guides from, I don't know, where I live, my family, just, I don't know. But there's a consistency, for my whole life, for them to be around and for them to talk to me and the things they talk to me about and the things they help me through and all the stuff that I have learned in life by the communication. So, I don't know, but I know that, like we all have the dark and the light inside of us. And that there's a lot of people who are very focused on the dark. And that there's the people who are of this, it's like they've bound themselves to this plane of existence because they don't ever face themselves. They just burrow in deeper into their darkness. And that is where this, like, we really are pulling free from a dark energy. But the dark energy is kind of like, if you've ever seen the movie The Blob. And so it was like the blob would come and then it would just like suck up these people into the blob. But that's kind of like the energy of the darkness could just suck these people up into its energy, which creates a bigger blob. So they become more of the dark energy. It is like a de-evolution. It's like this going into, I don't know, because I always look at the dark of like sludge, like when you're walking and you're just like muddy, sludgy. That's what I always look at the dark energy as. That's why it feels like heavy when you are like down and you're like walking. It's like, is this just this thickness, this darkness, and then it has all of these beings, like all these beings in the blob trying to hold on and pull more people into their darkness, and it's very what is that? Tricky. It tricks you because it makes you think that things that are dark aren't dark. And there's a lot of people who are tricked right now. That is going to be a big part of the awakening. And what was this one too? Because there was somebody and they were saying something about spiritual awakening or something. The whole thing with the spiritual awakening is you. It's you figuring you out. And it isn't like you have to accomplish, well, I've got to do, I don't know. Like, I'm there's such a three-dimensional sense to this spirituality that has been going. It's going to keep crashing down. It's going to keep going more and more where people are like, this isn't true. This isn't true. Well, you're not all just out there quantum jumping through life. Like, how does that make sense? And that is the thing, is like, you guys just say stuff and you don't even think about, like, does that make sense on a spiritual level? Like, when we're talking about life in a spiritual perspective, you got to talk about it on a spiritual level. Does it make sense that you would be birthed into a place that has all of these problems, all of these ordeals, and you're supposed to just quantum leap through them? You're supposed to just overcome by jumping through them, not overcome them by dealing with them and growing and evolving from the situations. Like like it's like you are repressing yourself, holding yourself back, just like these people who just hold themselves in the dark, who aren't evolving. These people who they think just skip through the hard parts. Well, that's no evolution. It is like, okay, because in a spirit form, yeah, you can. You just like zip over here. I like that. Well, I don't like that. Zip over here, zip over there. Like, you can go wherever you want. You're just like immediately there. And so, I think that we know inside of ourselves that we have more control, but that's kind of the battle, like what I was talking about before, where you have this understanding of the magic that's out there and the magic that you can do. But when you are in here, you don't have access to all that magic. And then you have to learn how to trust and how to understand that it's real. Like, there's a lot of different things to learn through all this. Just like what I was saying, all these people who get so hung up on, oh, these people are NPCs, they haven't woke up, they're just the NPCs, they aren't real, all this stuff, which there's more conversation going now where people are starting to catch on. But there is the people who think they're so awake. It's like, but you aren't awake to the spiritual part. You're not awake to the spiritual complexity of existence. So you are basing it on this three-dimensional perspective that's very limited over what you are trying to perceive. And so to sit here and say that these people aren't going to wake up, so this is a part of their awakening, is for them to see these other people wake up. And that is going to have an effect on these people. All these people are going to all have these different effects of all these different things. Oh, yeah, and there's more stuff now coming out on that old King James character. Is that he, he's very into, writing this Bible thing, but he wasn't just into those. He was also into demonology. He's got a 3-book series on demonology and stuff. And I think there's going to be so much that's going to come out where these people are going to be like, oh my God, I can't believe that I trusted this book, especially because those people who do trust that are so into this devil and angel and stuff like that. And it's like, this guy who got you all hooked on his book had a very much awareness of these two forces. And so there was definitely, the demonology books were written first. So I would think if you're going to translate another book, you're going to definitely try and translate it in the direction of what you are trying to get people to understand. So there's going to be more and more, of this awakening to who you trusted. Like right now, a lot of it is playing out in this scenario with idolization of these people, who we don't know and we think they're real cool. And now for a while, it's been like all these rappers and stuff. Well, now it's hitting into the other parts of the industry, and there's what are those people called? Western music? What are they called? The Nashville people? There's so much corruption and all this fucking shit. I can't think of what they're called. Country music. But country music isn't even like old country music now. It's funny. It's like pop music. And the whole thing with pop music, the pop music are all of the celebrities that they chose to put, in our faces. They're going to make them rich and famous by just putting them in our face all the time. And then they get these hit songs that I don't know that these people are the ones writing these songs. And some of these people are just people who look good in tights or something. Like, it doesn't take much. If you'll fucking dance in front of these fucking shadow people and distract us, and you are eager for fame and fortune, then, they'll scoot you right on up in there. And then there's some people who were like eager for it, but then they're like, well, I'm not that eager. Like, the line is here. And then they're like, okay, well, fuck you. There's plenty more out here. And that's on all different levels. There's people who were, there's people who are not produced in the music industry that were very talented, because they wouldn't, sleep with this person, or, be getting raped by these guys or whatever the hell. So there's, all of this stuff is going to keep coming out in all of these different ways, and whistleblowers and stuff. But now it's going to start going out into other parts of these industries and stuff, because all of them were linked. This isn't just all music people. Like, we've already seen how many actors and stuff you had there. I mean, politicians. Now they've got Kris Jenner. She's going to be a big link in taking down a lot of different kind of groups. Like, because this is going to be how they controlled, our world, through blackmail. Like, they're going to make sure that this person's doing this and this person's doing that. And then plus it comes from these fucking the shadow people, and these people are just they think that they are a part of it, but they are just they're not even the step down elites. They are a facade. Like, they think that I don't know, like, I don't think, the Kardashians have all this access to all this money that they say. Like, even when she did that big exclusive, that big old fucking extravagant wedding, that it's like all those industries donating that stuff or something to make it look like that she spent that much. So then we all are like, well, I want to have a big fancy wedding like that. Well, I want to, because they did have people that start going and spending like hundreds of thousands of dollars on a fucking ceremony. They last a couple goddamn hours. It's like, it's mental. How fucking frivolous. There's goddamn people starving in the world, and we're going to go and, but that's where these people have led people in this dark direction, where they just are happy, well, I'm a princess for a day. And so they don't give a shit, well, that's what the princesses and queens don't give a shit of, the fucking people down there starving. And so and then these people lead us to that. And it's just like in war and stuff, when they all of a sudden, well, we gotta send all these companies over there, we gotta do this, we gotta make these brass bottles, we gotta do that. It's all their people. So it's like they create these things to give their people away to make some extra money. So it's all these people who do this bullshit so that they can make money off of the products that they say that we need for these things that they create. And so it's all shenanigans, it's all manipulation, and it's just so much corruption, and that's why it's all falling apart. But the force behind it is all of us, our awareness, becoming and calling it out as corruption. All of us saying this is some bullshit, and that is what is the big change. Because before we just went along, just like little fucking, um, you know, I just see it as like, I don't know, these mindless little, just like how all these people look at these people like NPCs. We were all the same way. We were all doing the same thing. We were all just going through life. Got to get there. Got to go there. Got to do that. Got to be there. What are you talking about? Who that? It was always like that for all of us. And then certain events started happening and these different things started waking us up. And it was all placement of the scenarios that were happening that has to do with what we are here to experience and learn. And so these different scenarios started waking us up. And then a part of, a lot of us who woke up in the beginning, a lot of it had to do with building our self-esteem and stuff because then when we started telling people and we were getting called crazy to our face and laughed at and all that stuff, a lot of people turned it into anger and resentment. And, you do have to go through that process, but it is ultimately to build you up into a sense of self. Like, like I could see this, y'all can't see, but it's real. And to learn that you aren't crazy and that you don't need other people to accept you to find that for yourself. So there's all these things that are playing out that help you to heal, to become more confident in yourself. But yeah, it all starts with the, like, you stupid ass, you crazy person and stuff. And you can, like I said, you can go either way. You can be beat down like the victim, like, oh, see, they've always been that way. I've always been the black sheep. Nobody's ever loved me. Nobody's ever cared. Like, and I mean, we've watched me go through some of this. There's definitely been tears shed. But you have to go through your process, and there is but it is leading you into not being bothered because somebody doesn't see what you see, and to be able to give them the validation of like, well, you see what you see, and that's true, that the stuff you see is what you see. And the stuff I see is what I see. And I can't expect the other people in the world to see what I see. And that is because we are unique. We are very specific over our view. And there is, when you want other people to understand and see what you see, you can rest assured that you have a whole fucking group with you. You have a whole team. You have the watchers. There's plenty of energy out there that does see what you see. And they applaud you. They look at you like, thank you for showing us this. Thank you for letting us see, letting us be a part of this. And but you can take them in both directions. And this is the thing, is like you could be going in this one direction for a long time. And then the new spiritual people want to be like that you are somehow tricking the universe, and all of a sudden you switch and you go in a different direction. It's like, no, they know exactly when you're going to switch. Like, there's no fucking accident. At this pivotal time that I didn't even know was a pivotal time in my fucking choices, that this would come back and play out, and I would see all this. And he's still around. He's still here. We're still hanging out. But it's less emotional, but I am seeing so much more. It gives me so much more understanding of so many things. And I was like, when you face yourself, there's so much benefit to it. And people get so put off, like they would so much rather blame somebody else for how they feel. But when you go in and you really take responsibility for yourself, it's very freeing. And it's but it's pain, like, fuck, like some of this has definitely been where it's like, how did I get out of the dark night and not go through this? Like, what? But that is where it's all about timing. It's all about this timing thing. It's very trippy, because even in these tarot things where I was having these tarot readings would pop up all the time, and they kept saying that something was going to happen. I wasn't going to see it coming, and it was going to be very pivotal. And then, and now that happened, now, there's ones talking about how it happened or what it happened. Like, it is so trippy when you get into the magic of the universe. And and those of us who have been experiencing it for our lives, when we try and tell other people, they think that we're crazy. And so but I feel bad for the people who haven't got to experience it. But that's the cool thing, is it is like we're gonna get this do-over. It's like this big giant do-over. And you know what it almost feels like too? It almost feels like we're going back to the 70s. Like we're going back in time to a time where there was more, I don't know, we're going back to a time it was more pure in the spirit. And then we're going to, though, go in a quantum leap towards technology, because it's been so repressed to hold us in this place of control. And but there's going to be a huge jump in technology, and there's going to be a huge jump in how people look at themselves and what they focus on. And there's going to be so much that is going to be about people healing. That is going to become such a big part of humanity, where people are going to be a lot more open about what they are going through, and how they've dealt with it. And we're all going to be a lot more compassionate and empathetic towards people, and actually listening to people, not just, trying to figure out what you're going to say back, but we're going to go deeper. We're going to go deeper in our connections and in our movement of, but it's because what we are not willing to accept anymore. This is the thing. There's so many people out there in like abusive relationships and stuff. And then they think like, like, I keep being in these abusive relationships. Why? But it's like, you don't realize it's because that's how you feel about yourself. You're just letting these people treat you how you feel about yourself. If you don't like how they're treating you, it's up to you to start saying, no, I feel better about myself. I don't want to be treated like this. It's like, you've got to start setting boundaries. You got to start saying no. And if somebody keeps on treating you bad and they will not respect your boundaries when you say, don't do that, or don't do this, or whatever, then you got to, separate more, to be like, well, if you're not going to listen to me, then this is the next step I'll take. I'm not going to hang out with you. Well, I'm not going to go out and, go on walks with you. If you're going to just sit there and always figure out a way to put me down, or whatever it is. Everybody's got so many different things that they don't like, or they don't want, or they hang out with this person and it's my only friend, and they always say this stuff and I hate it, but I can't have any other friends. Well, that's why, because that's how you feel about yourself. Those are the messages you're giving yourself. That's what you're telling yourself, and you think that you deserve to be treated this way. And believe you me, I've learned this stuff. Like, I'm not just saying this shit. I learned this stuff. You allow these people to be around you because you don't feel good about yourself, and then you let them treat you bad, and then you think it's because there's something wrong with you. But the thing that's wrong with you is that you're allowing people to treat you bad. That is these parts that you play out. And this is what I'm saying too about the universe, is like, the day that you all of a sudden say, no more, you don't trick the universe. They knew that day was going to be that day, at that hour, at that moment. That was what was going to happen. And then the next thing that's going to happen, it's already that next part. It's already all of the plan, because it was already set before you ever took the first breath. So it's not, like, you have to worry like, oh, well, what if I did this today? I'm going to throw the universe. They're not even going to know what to do. I better just do that. Like, no, you're always going to do what you're going to do. Like, the illusion is you thinking that you have got control over what you're going to do. You don't. You're always going to do what you're going to do. And it's like, our overthinking and our process, it gives us an illusion of scenarios that aren't true. So you don't have control. You're not going to be able to fool the. You can't fool anybody. You can't, like, you can fool other people because they are fools, but you can't fool, like, the universe. The universe can see right through you. I don't even know that they see the outside like how we do. Like I said, to me, it looks like, it's like just color patterns, but it's like the same thing as like how something can come into our head and we understand it by like, oh, I remember I felt so closed in. Yes, this is like this communication tool that when we are, okay, wait a second, because that was like, I got lost in there. Okay, so the communication tool of oh, okay, because it's like that they can read these patterns, this kaleidoscope patterns of color, and it's like that they can read it. It isn't like that they need to look at us and like they decide like, oh yeah, well, she's pretty, well, she should have been treated different, oh, she should have, it's not like they sit there doing that. Like, that's not like that kind of, oh well, she shouldn't have done that, she's going straight to hell. That's not how the universe is. The universe is, it's like a mumbling, it's like a rumbling, a mumbling of and it is like a hum, of expression. I wonder if that is like the sound I hear. But it is like a sound, a hum of a sound of expression. But it's like I don't know how to explain it. It's like this watching, like watching us, and but it's not like that they are, but they can understand through that. Like there's conversation going, but it's not like what we would hear. It's like a hum can carry. Oh, like you can, like a hum can carry your message. Like, but we don't know how to use that yet. Like, that's trippy. And then but so that they can see and understand colors and patterns in a way that we don't see them. Like, we're in the picture. We see the picture much different. We feel the picture. We have a different experience. And when we learn from this, but it's also is a challenge because you are going into a place that can overtake you with the darkness. And it's like the strength comes from within. It's your own strength that battles the darkness, but it has to be done through recognition. And so much of what has gone on with their manipulation, it has receded the recognition in so many people to have an understanding of the dark so that they continue to play out their sense of self in the dark. It's like, I don't know. It will make more sense, I think, when the lights come on and people begin to see themselves. A lot of people are going to be like shocked by themselves. Like, I can't believe I was doing that. I can't believe. But that's where you got to be honest with yourself and be like, well, what was it you were trying to get? Because there's always something we're trying to get. Well, I was wanting this and it turned out like that. I wanted this. I wanted him to love me. But then it turned out went way different. Just like, I'm playing games with Dickie. I want him to be the one who tells me that he loves me, that I'm the girl for him. And to the point, like, I just can't even believe, like, I'm like, and then he's being like real and honest and asking me, and I can't even fucking say, like, and Crystal, you're right. It's like, yeah, I'm so scared that if I say that I like him, and there is even a sense of if I tell him I like him, then he's gonna say, well, you probably shouldn't. You probably shouldn't even like me. Like, you get your mind so twisted up in insecurities that that is, it's your own battle, and it is a battle that you need to face. Because it is, you become the toxin, you become the toxic character, and it's sad because you want to think like, well, insecurities, like, they come from all these horrible abuses and stuff like that. But we grab onto these insecurities and we wear them like a badge of honor, poor me, and he doesn't love me enough, and he just treats me, all this stuff. So everything comes from us beginning to worship ourselves, begin to see our own value, to see like, no, you're not going to treat me bad. And if you're going to treat me bad, then you're not going to have time with me. I'm not going to share my valuable time with you if you don't appreciate the time that I'm giving you, if you get my drift. So anyways, today I'm going to go and do a bunch of stuff. It was like, I don't know, it's like overwhelming to me all the time when I have a bunch of stuff to do. And at my ring, I don't know, I must have taken my ring off when I was painting the house or something. I don't know, maybe my fingers got swollen, but I had got it out the other day and I'd put it on. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna wear my ring all the time. But now I saw that there's one of these little things, and I already had one them break before. I was moving, and one of these rubies fell out, and then I had to have it replaced. And then I couldn't even afford, like, they're expensive, so I had to get a smaller one than my original one. And so this one, I definitely don't want it to fall out. And then there's so much shadiness with the jewels and the gems and stuff, like the people who are involved with that. And there is like a lot of gem thievery. And so um like, I don't know, when I got this ruby, it seems like it was a pretty good one, you know, like I spent a lot on it. I don't remember, but they go and they take out finer jewel gems, and then they'll put lower quality in. And so I don't know, every time that anything of yours is in someone else's hands, you're at risk for the contamination of the corruption that people are willing to use in order to build their fortunes. You know, they're willing to step on everybody else and steal from everybody else in order to build their fortunes, but they just don't realize, like, building your fortune on that, taking from others, is a bad karmic choice. Like, it's not going to go in the direction you want it to go, and it's always going to go the way that it's going to go. It's, you know, I guess these are the lessons that we're here to learn and experience. And then we have a whole stadium of people who are here watching with us to learn from all of the things that we're doing. And we've got them all up in the skies and stuff. And some of them are very connected karmically to what has been humanity or mankind's journey. And it is very much like when I was hearing them talking about, like, this container that the what was that? Because the container, the people, I always say the people, the container, so the container, when you are in the container and when you're out of the container, what was I about to say? It was when you're in the container, you because the people get in this illusion that they are the container. And what was it? I swear to God, it was good. I swear to God, as soon as I stop, it's going to be like, then it's going to pop into my mind. Oh yeah, damn it. There's so many things that I'm like, that happens. I'm like, oh, damn it, I wanted to say that. And then I just totally forget. And sometimes I'll remember like a week or two later and say it. But anyways, it's hard to remember all the things I want to say, because I thought this was going to be going in a different direction. Even this morning, like, I thought I was going to be talking about something different. Because there was other things that were on my mind. And then as soon as I start, then it's like, what? So, anyways, the container is where so many people think that they are the container, but there's like something more to it. Like, okay, so the people think that they are that because it's so limiting. Oh yeah, because the limitations behind this concept of being human, and and for it to be like this container, like there's nothing about it that is the real you. And so you have all these people, though, who are so caught up in the container that it is they keep themselves in limitation, in a limiting perspective of self, because human isn't even real. It's not even a fucking real thing. It's like an adventure containment. It's like a adventure avatar. It's like an avatar that you can put on to go have an adventure. It's not a real thing. And so many people are so caught up in like a human and being human and stuff like that. And it's like a scenario. It's like a game. Oh man, and I know I'm not explaining this right, but it's definitely, it's a limitation. It's a limiting way of looking at yourself to think that you are human. You got to start seeing yourself as the person that you are in the inside, the soul, the part of you that people don't necessarily see. But it's like the part of you that the people don't see is when you start building up that part of you, is when that starts shining through, and that's all people will be able to see. And so it will override the outer, your light will come through. And so it's limiting, and that is where it's like where you see people start becoming I don't know, sick and distorted and old and grumpy and all of those things, is being too trapped in this concept of that's what you are, this human. And the crazy thing is that your human body, your expression of self, is being expressed to you to show you these sides of yourself, but people don't want to look at these sides of themselves and see, the pain that they carry, their grumpiness, their anger and stuff. So anyways, that book, I don't even know if I'm making sense. It makes sense to me. I can see it, but it's hard to explain some of this stuff. So hopefully I'm making sense to you guys. So anyways, yeah, today I've got a bunch of stuff I'm going to run out and do. And I'm getting another dog today. It's like, I just kept seeing too many things. There's just so much stuff going on with the dogs still. There's like so much crises. And so then there's like a whole bunch that they have that they need to find places for them to go. Like this one rescue place, some of these people who are in the of this pyramid system of trying to save the animals, the people who are like the first ones to get them from the shelters, the rescue people, some of these rescue people have so fucking many dogs. Like the girl who, this one's being transported, but I'm going to go to Bellingham. So I'm going to meet him in Bellingham. But the one girl who is having this one brought over to me, she's like 10 dogs right now. That other one where I had went, it was like 10 dogs there. And some of these rescues have like 10, 20, 30 dogs all at these places. And so then there's the fosters. There's all of us people who say, well, I'll take one. And then the people who have so many, they'll spread them out, but then they go get more because there's all these dogs that keep, you would think that there, at some point this would slow down. It was like, what the holy hell? And and then people just keep having more and more puppies. It's like, how cut off are you from what's happening in this fucking world? There's so many fucking dogs out there that have no homes, and they're just fucking massacring them. And it's so fucked up. Like there's so much fucked up shit going on. Like fucking man, this is 100% hard. It's 100% hard to go through this stuff. No matter how much we don't want to just be like human and stuff, but we're in this bodysuit, and this fucking gets us to feel the emotions and the trauma of what is around us. And it's very traumatic. It's very emotional to see all of this horrible stuff, even as a person who knows that this isn't real. And leaving this place is like, exciting, like all these animals and stuff. But the thing that always gets me is this terror, this feeling of sadness, this loneliness, this confusion. Like, I'm going to be so glad when the lights come on, and I just feel like it's going to just be like this eye-opener of what's real and what's not real. And there's more of these people with their dreams and stuff, and more people getting these downloads and stuff, saying that the sky is going to open up. And we've got this whole scenario playing out, where they've got the 2 moons, and they've got this asteroid. Now they've said that all of a sudden there's this huge asteroid. It's so funny, because isn't this like from a movie? But this huge asteroid is heading right for us. It's the size of a city. And so we're going to have all this stuff that's going to keep playing out. Nothing's going to come in and slam into us and hit us and blow us up. and, but everything is going to open. Like when I see it opening, like if I feel like if I look beyond the illusion, like if you think of it kind of like, I see it as, what is that called? It's like a stage, like the Hollywood Bowl, like a stage out there, and the people on the stage, the lights are on them and they can't see out. They can't see the audience. Like, and we have the audience all around us. They're up looking at us, watching us. But we're on the stage. We've got the lights on us. But if, and this is where all of a sudden the lights are going to go out, but that's going to make the lights come on inside of us. Something like that is going to play out. And then but so the lights going off, and then the people on the stage. So if we were at the Hollywood Bowl and we're the ones on the stage and the lights are on and that's all we see is each other and these lights and everything on the stage, and then the lights go out and suddenly we see everything outside. We see all of these people watching us. We see the trees. We see the hill. We see all of this, everything around us. So in that scenario, I would say if all of a sudden the lights went off and we saw past the firmament, which I think the firmament is going away, it may be thinning or something. It may be like the macro, as we thin the veil in our minds, that it thins the veil of illusion that keeps us outside of inside of a containment. But when the lights were to come on outside, it looks to me like it's like caverns and color and planet. Like it is like a masterpiece of a sci-fi painting or something. Like I think it is, it's not going to be like, just be space, just be vast and like open water. It's going to be like colors and things like lights and colors going and things like, I don't know. I think it's going to be really, really cool. I think it's going to be really beautiful. I think it's going to be overwhelming and fascinating at the same time. So, but I do think that's a part of humanity's evolution, is to see the truth, because we are like on this lit up stage and we think like this lit up stage is all there is. But when the lights go out, yeah, you're going to see, and you're going to see all the, because there is the watchers. and I think, there's people watching from ships. There's people watching us. This guy, he is doing videos now. He's I think it was a 5-part thing that he did of his interaction with a Bigfoot. And his interaction is the other interactions, what I have heard. So I 100% think Bigfoots are not mindless monsters. They're just advanced beings that are hairy. And so when he went with this being, he said that it took him to their home place. Like he said, it was just like going through a portal. Like you just go through this space, and there's a lot of these things. They're all around us. These entryways, these portals to other worlds. And so he went into this other world with the Bigfoot. He went into the Bigfoot's world, and he said it was just like our world. Like, it was just the same. Like, people going around, driving. Like, everything was just like people living. And only they were hairy. And he said that in this one, he went into this guy's house, and he said there was a TV. And then the guy said, "What are you guys watching?" And the Bigfoot said, "You guys." So that's what I'm saying. It's like, we're the show. We're the show. We're on the stage. We're the show. But it is like they really can learn from the things that we do. Like, they really can learn from, what we go through, because it's real and it's authentic in it. So, anyways, I just thought that was interesting. Oh, yeah. And he did say, because there's this whole thing about Bigfoot's smelling bad. And he said that is something that he said that they don't smell bad at all. That is, that's something that they can do, that they can make this, like a skunk or something to your put people off or something. So it's not that they just stink, like they don't wash or something. He said they don't smell bad at all. It's just that they have this ability to put this smell out. And I don't remember what he said they use the smell for, but I've heard these other things about, is there was another channeler who said that she was talking to Bigfoot, and she said like she could smell him. And like a lot of people have said that they have a really bad smell. So anyway, there's just going to be more and more, like, and you're going to have to, figure out what you believe and what you don't believe and stuff. But I would just advise you to open your mind and start believing it all. Like, every possibility is a possibility. Don't close yourself off, because then you're creating your own limitations. And that's what you're trying to break free from, is limitations. Because everything is a lot bigger than what they have led you to believe. So just remember what we're doing here, learning how to love ourselves, to love everyone, and how to have a loving day, because it's totally up to you. So I'll talk to you later. Bye.